As we prepare the babies to go back to school, we definitely want them to think about the importance of literacy. And when we speak about literacy, we want to make sure that we are encompassing reading and writing, not just reading, but reading comprehension, oral and written expression. So this month, we are focusing on our authors, our literary creatives, and their contributions to their respective communities. You guys remember Casper the Friendly Ghost? Well, not today. But this is Casper Hill, and he is a friendly literary creative. Welcome, Casper.
Good, good, good. Thank you for having me. I am blessed and honored to be here. We'll definitely talk about Casper because that name did come from Casper the Ghost, and we'll talk about that when you're ready. But I'm blessed and honored to be here.
Well, Casper, let's just jump right in. Tell me a little bit about you and the people so that they can feel connected, feel like they know you, and then we'll jump into how Casper came about.
You know, for over people, around the world is learning my story, how I was a drug dealing entrepreneur for over 25 years in 9 different states. And I served 10 years in prison. And now through my book, From DOC to CEO, I teach people how I came home from prison. I got released. I got free before they released me. And, changed my mindset and got out of that old criminal thinking and just rebuild my business the right way. And I'm helping hustlers around the world embrace this journey because it was the best decision that I could make. I teach people through my book how I actually started 2 businesses off a $10 an hour job and just showing people how I'm incredibly blessed. And if I can do it, anybody can do it.
So you know what, Casper? I already know what your tagline is. Free yourself from incarceration before incarceration frees you. I know that's right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Nice.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. You've been writing now for how long?
Well, I was actually writing movies before books.
Oh.
When I first went to jail in 2002, went to state prison, I wrote my first screenplay.
Okay.
When I came home, I went to jail 5 times selling drugs. I didn't receive, I couldn't receive my blessings. Like God was trying to teach me, to get out of that streets. And in my old criminal, ignorant way of thinking, I kept saying for the amount of money I seen, I wasn't getting long enough in jail. Because I was getting like a 1.5 to 3 at first and another year. And when my best friend actually had got 300 months on his first offense. So I was writing, screenplays. And then when I opened the bookstore in 2009 in Pennsylvania, where I live at, I started meeting a lot of authors. And one of the authors, J.M. Benjamin, good friend of mine, had a book out called From Incarceration to Incorporation. And that encouraged me. And when I wound up getting arrested the last time, I said, you know what? I'm done with the streets. I'm going to write my story from DOC to CEO when I get out and rebuild my business the right way. So I got writing skills. Like I said, it's been actually about 20 years.
Wow. So let's talk about that, though. Let's talk about the work from DOC to CEO. Let's just dive into it. When you were writing that, right? How did you feel to just put it all out there?
It was tough because I am one of them people that, and the people know my story, I'm one of them people that I went through everything imaginable. I feel like God said he's going to use me as a vessel. And I'm one of them people that went through when I tell you everything imaginable, like there was numerous shootings. I was a victim of police brutality. Like police had beat me up really bad, put me in a hospital. I went to jail from the hospital. Then I came home angry and I wound up beating a police officer up real bad and went to jail for that. My biological father, me and him was in a shootout against 5 men. He got hit 5 times right next to me and fell out. So there was I went through so many adverse situations and painful situations. So when I got to writing my stories, to be honest with you, it's like you got to relive that pain.
Okay.
And that was kind of tough because when you make yourself go back in some of the moments.
Yes.
And in this first book, we only really talk about, some of the stuff because it's kind of like covering the economic side of things where, like
Okay.
I said, I'm teaching people how I went from a drug dealer entrepreneur to a legitimate business owner.
Okay. Okay.
But when
Understood.
people are going to get my biography, that's when we're going to really cover A to Z, which I'm writing now, but it's hard. Because
Okay.
like I said, again, I gotta go into some painful moments. And I'm not as cold as I used to be. I think when I was writing before, when I was selling drugs, I was cold. I was in a different element. But now that I'm like a God-fearing man and I just live right, I'm not as cold as I used to be. And sometimes that's tough.
Well, and so, all right, when you think about that, though, when you think about, all right, there are certain things I just really can't get into now. How do you set yourself up so that you can present some of those things through writing, or do you just let it go altogether?
To be honest with you, I'm a praying man. So before I sit down and write, and I pray, and that's what helps me.
Yes.
Because I say, God, I know you took me through these, you delivered me from that lifestyle. So just help me put it in creative form so that I can tell my story. But I'm a serious man of prayer. And that's pretty much what gets me through, to be honest with you. Like I said, when I'm sitting down, I have to pray before I go in and write. And that's what does it for me right there.
Yes. So there's definitely, for you, there's definitely a spiritual and therapeutic benefit.
It
So that's
is. It
amazing.
is. It is. I mean,
Amazing.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Everything for me is definitely spiritual because I know, like, I couldn't put myself in them situations and get myself out of it. Like I said, when me and my father had that shootout against them 5 men, the bullets was hitting everything around me. The glass was shattering behind me. I hear it ricocheting off stuff, and not a single bullet touched me. And that was the first time where God was showing me he had his hand on my life.
Yes.
And like I said, the 5 of them bullets hit my dad right next to me. So people were cracking jokes saying, "Are you really Casper the Ghost?" But I was like, but God always said to me, let them think what they want. I saved you. I protected you.
That's right. That's right. Yes. So what was one of the most surprising things you learned as you were creating books?
That, that my gift is real. Because I have people coming to me saying, I've had men, right? I'll be honest with you. I swear God knows my heart. I've had men come to me in tears, like, not only saying did I make them look at their own life, but they was like, yo, I respect your journey to where you are today. Like, because I went to jail for murder I didn't do, and I stuck to the code. The streets tell us, oh, don't snitch, don't this, that. I went to I did a murder time for a murder that I didn't do. And but I speak on that kind of stuff, telling you, the importance of the people that you keep around you. So watch your friendships, because you will easily get a conspiracy for something that you didn't do. So I've had, when the men come to me saying this book really touched me and they be in tears, I'll be like, wow, God, I'm my gift is real and I'm on the right path.
That's it. That's it. What do you think makes a good story?
The way, knowing going in the message that you want to convey to your readers, and and you making sure that you deliver on that. Now it depends. Like I said, if it's a fictional story, which I can write as well, you got to have a good plot, a subplot, and them twists and them turns, and to make people say, "Wow, I didn't see that coming." Because the same thing I write with scripts. So I had a script that I was writing years ago, and this was the short, and it was saying, it's called "What's a Gangster to Do?" And it was like one of them situations where it was like, where a father, 2 men had a shootout at a club, and one of the men killed one of his homeboys. And then 2 weeks later, the guy seen him in his neighborhood, and the one that did the shooting was standing there talking to his daughter, and the other guy walked by, and when they eyes locked, they both pulled out their guns at the same time. But the guy that was standing there with his daughter, you don't want to initiate a shooting when you got your child with you. But the other guy is like, if he's a real street dude, he's like, I don't care. That's, you're at my mercy.
That's it. Yep.
So it was like one of them situations where it's like, what's a gangster to do? And I wrote that because it was like, no two answers would be the same, because everybody, depending on their philosophy and their beliefs, they handle that situation differently.
Wow. Guys, Casper is really speaking to you, not just about writing, not just about the importance of literacy, but about real life, the importance of getting a hold of your life before life gets a hold of you. Definitely. So, Casper, we really appreciate your presentation of information, because not only are you speaking to our babies and those going back to school, you're also speaking to the parents thereof, and just letting them know, you know what, let me get my child into something else other than what they may already be into, because this writing thing could potentially save their lives. And we thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you let everybody know where they can find you on social media, and also where they can get your books?
Well, social on Facebook, and I use my social media to encourage, to uplift, to empower. I stay away from all goofy stuff on social media. On Facebook, I'm Casper Hill. On Instagram is author Casper Hill. And people can order my book from my website at www.casperhill.org. You can always connect with me. One of the things is I never want to be so successful that I can't connect with the people. So one of the things that I do, even with my book, like sometimes my mother may contact me, say, look, I got my son in jail. I want to order your book. And I sit down and I write them a heartfelt letter myself. Yes. I don't have my assistant do it. I write them an encouragement letter. And I get so many mothers that respect that and appreciate that. Like I said, I sit down myself and tell them, look, I was there. I know where you are. I know where you at. I know what you're dealing with. I did that life since I was 12 years old. Man, you can change. There is a better way. Like I said, I sit down and I write people heartfelt letters, you know what I mean? That order copies of the book. Because like I said, it ain't just about the money for me. Even when I'm traveling on my book tours, absolutely, I don't just pull money out of communities. I make it my business I visit schools, jails. Everybody that know me know, like, it ain't about just making money. My mentor told me, if all your business make is money, you have a poor business. So that's why it's like I go encouraging others and I help others. But yeah, anybody can always hit me up at one of the social media outlets, or like I said, through my website, get the book. If you got a loved one in prison, I'll write them a personal letter and just tell them, send some words of encouragement.
Yes, guys, definitely tap into Casper. He is a wealth of information, and he's a wealth of practical application of information. And so we thank you so much, Casper, and we look forward to seeing and hearing more from you.